Going on, everybody? I just want to make part 2 to my short tutorial series for Autodesk Revit to Autodesk 3ds Max to Unreal Engine 4. Now in this I'm going to cover a little bit more about Revit for those who are not too familiar with it. I'm not going to get really in-depth. I'm basically just going to show you the basics of what I use to come up with the apartment layout of my old apartment. And then how I exported that into 3ds Max as shown previously in the last video. So with that being said, let us get started. This will be the first screen that pops up when you start using Revit architecture. I'm using 2014. It doesn't really matter, I guess, as long as it's in the last few years. There are some new features in each one, but again, I'm just basically showing you the basics. And what you want to do is come up to here, this little button right at the top. Open it up, go to New Project. You can pick different templates, but I'm going to use the architectural template. Click OK. Pardon if my computer slows down a little bit. Again, I don't have a lot of system RAM. I have a lot of RAM on my video card, but my system RAM is lacking, so I'll update that as soon as I can. Just got a little bit of music to listen to in the meantime, huh? Better than waiting in an elevator with a stinky guy next to you. Yes. Alright. So, this is a empty template. Now I'm going to basically show you, I'm just going to start with the walls. Usually you start with the floor and everything like that, but I found that you could always add the ceiling and the floor later on in Unreal Tournament. You basically just want to kind of get the shell of the apartment or building that you're making. If you make multiple floors, there's different methods of doing this, but again, I'm just basically going to show you the basics of what I did to import from one to another. So, that being said, we're underneath the Architecture tab. You got a bunch of them over here, as you can see. On the ribbon, that's what they call it. Right now, we're going to stick with the Architecture tab. Select on Wall. As soon as I click that, this will change. It'll go to Modify and Place Wall. There's different ways you can do it. You can bend it, move it around, all that good stuff. We're just going to stick with the line. So let me zoom in a little bit. Now I have to let you know that ahead of time, this wall will be a lot taller than it should be. I think this may be why right here. Unconnected height, yes. Okay, so that's 20 feet. We don't want 20 feet. We want something like 8 or 9 feet will be fine. We'll just go with 9 feet. So that will be the height from the ground up. So here we go. Right now I'm just painting the 2D version of the walls. I did it in feet as well. So I'll just kind of zoom in here so you can see it. So we'll just start off. This snaps, as you can see. It's not completely free. You can make it free if you want, but I wouldn't advise it. It also shows you radius. You can zoom it around, all that stuff. So you know what's going on. You'll get the measurements as you do it. So we're going to go to a 15-foot wall. Okay. There's one wall. Now I just basically left click to start it, left click again to end that part of the wall. Now if you want to completely get out of this tool, you have to press escape. You will be using that command a lot to get out of other commands. If you're used to AutoCAD at all, you'd probably understand how that works. And we're going to probably do about 12 feet this way. Okay, so there's another wall, automatically connects. Fills out. Now see, when I get closer to the other edge, it will automatically draw a dotted line to show you that you are now basically lined up with the other wall. So I'm going to click again. It'll show you 12 feet exactly until you reconnect. Now, I could do stuff like this if I wanted to, you know, I could do crazy stuff, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to connect the wall. Automatically, it's connected. So once you seal a wall, it will stop making other walls. So kind of figures, all right, well, you're done doing that. So if you want to make another wall, click on it again. As I said before, it's under architecture. So we'll make another room. Midpoint. Okay, so it kind of gives you an idea. Yeah, I'm just going to go all the way down. Screw it. Close that off. I'm going to do it again. So midpoint will automatically tell you you're in the middle. Line it up. There you go, 7 feet, 6 inches. That's what she said. Okay, so enough of the jokes. We're going to go to doors and windows. Now these are in a library in a different location than the actual program. Also, they don't come with doors and windows. You have to download these separate. So you can go to websites like Kobe and Kobe. They have a bunch of Revit options to choose from. Another good website is Revit City. That's where I got a lot of mine. So that being said, let's put a door in. Now with each one of these models, the walls, doors, windows, any furniture or anything like that, stairwells, you can edit the properties too. Some of them don't allow you to edit as many properties as others. It all depends on where you download it. But for now, I'll just mention that. Let's see, so we got 3. So we'll make this door swing open. Okay. It's kind of small. It's all right. You can always lower the size. That's not what she said, by the way. So yeah, here we go. We got 2 doors. We'll make another door over here just for the heck of it, you know. And another door here. It's kind of rough sometimes trying to figure out where to go. Okay. So 3 feet. There we go. So we got a few door entries into these rooms. I'm gonna go get some windows. So we'll put a window here. 3 feet, 3 feet. All right. Same thing over here. Okay. Do it here too. A little off there. 6 feet by 6 feet. There we go. That works. All right, so whatever. We'll put a window here. All right, so we got a room, a bunch of doors, a bunch of windows. So that's all set up. Okay, so that's pretty simple. You know, architecture is where you build stuff. Structure, I'm guessing, is like columns, wall, beams. You know, internal stuff, trusses, brace, beam systems. You know, so if you really get involved and learn how to do this, you can make real buildings with real components. But for now, we're just going to show you interiors, simple stuff, to get the idea across. Now, components, these would be like stoves, couches, piping, electrical, all sorts of stuff that you could put into the building, inside the walls, things like that if you need to. They do have a program called Autodesk Revit Structure, I think it's called. It's all about the structure, the other important parts of it, so you could import from this to that. So you get realistic buildings coming together. But for video game purposes right now, you probably don't have a beastly computer. Maybe you do. A lot of people I know don't, or they're building them. They're not, you know, totally cheap to make. But if you have the money to spare to make your own computer, I would start from scratch. If you know anything about that, there's tutorials online I could teach you. My advice to you is this: get a case that's big enough to make decisions. A lot of new video cards are bigger than you think they are. Also, make sure you know what motherboard you're getting. Make sure you have an idea what kind of processor you want, how much, within your price range you're aiming for, the power. I would go with AMD every time. They always blow everything else out of the water. That's my personal preference. And if, you know, make sure you have enough RAM. I would go with 16 gigabytes or higher, just to be sure. You don't need to have that, but it's good. Get a video card, a GPU that probably has 2 gigabytes or higher for video memory. GTX cards are pretty good. Some of them are cheap if you get them at the right time. Amazon Black Friday deals, always good. So Newegg, Tiger Direct, another good site. Anyway, that out of the way, we're going to work on the rest of this. So we got that all set up. Now to get out of that, I just press escape twice. So you saw the little circle with the cross, and I pressed escape twice to get back to where I was. So this is level 1. I could always copy this to level 2. Again, I'm still learning this, so once I figure that out, I'll do some more tutorials for this. But now we're going to look at a 3D view. Right up here, it says default 3D view. Obviously, you know what that means. So we click on it. Not really sure how this is going to turn out. Oh, okay, cool. That's what I wanted to do. So very simple, you know, small windows, small rooms. It's like a hobbit house or something, you know. Maybe an interrogational unit for the CIA. I don't know. You're going to get it from me. So anyway, we're going to basically show you the little components of each window and door. I'm going to show the measurements, you know, height, width from, you know, one wall to another wall, things like that. When you highlight on different things, it will tell you different information, you know, dimensions of the window. So here we got fixed, okay? I just had this already selected, so it's a fixed window. Obviously, it's not the same size. It is more square. That's okay. And what we could do is we could change the sill height, which would be from the bottom to the top here. It's about 3 feet. We could change that. We could change more properties. Head height, which I'm guessing is from here down here, so the top of the head. So we'll go to edit type. You could change the actual height of the window itself. So yes, the head height would be from the ground to the top of the window. 4 plus 3 is 7. So we got the height of the window is 4, width is 3. We could change these if we wanted to, so if you want to make the walls bigger, things like that. I'll show you that in a second. So anyway, same thing with the doors, depending on what you want to do. Some of these have options, some of them don't. Same thing in here, okay? Just so you understand, this is the project browser. This would be all your floors. These are the properties browser. This would be all the properties of whatever you select in here, including walls. So generic wall. Now you can change these to more elaborate exterior, brick, insulated. So if you've ever done any construction, you know anything about it, you definitely will be able to dive into this and understand what this means. Some people don't, so they have to study up. I'm one of those people, but I can build some things. Just like I can use a computer, but I suck at math. Alright, so we got this, right? We got this whole little thing going on here. So what I'm going to do now is show you, let's say that I wanted to install some other windows and things like that, or doors. Okay, so once you click on it, it goes to modify, place window, place door, whatever. If you want to load more doors, more components, or more windows, things like that, each one will have this load family. And you click on it, see what I mean? I haven't been really organized with this, so you'll see some doors, windows, other stuff. You can see how it says Colby. That's where a lot of them I got from. They have huge files sometimes with a lot of options. Each one you select will have different window options. Now again, all of these can be turned into 3D models in 3ds Max when they're exported as FBX. To do this, you need to be in the 3D view in Revit to be able to export into FBX. If you don't, 2D views, it will be grayed out when you try to do it. So you will not be able to select that option. So you also have under libraries, it will be under program data, Autodesk, RAC24 libraries. So let's go here. I put a lot of stuff under US metric. I kind of usually just copy one folder to another anyway. I know there's a difference and you should be able to organize it better, but for right now, for tutorial purposes, we're just going to do this. See, this is where the fixed window is, where I got some different website, Revit City. We've got some couches. These would be the components. So I could place this in there in 2D, you know, view, and then 3D will show it. You could change some of the aspects of it. Some don't have thumbnails for it. That's okay. little stove. See, they're actually pretty detailed. Some of these are really nice. Single hung was a different type of window that I had. It was more of the window I'm going to show you in 3ds Max in a second. So that's the one that I used for it. You know, light switches, fixtures, double, you know, different types, pretty much anything you can imagine. So that being said, now we're going to move on to exporting the entire model as FBX. So now we're in 3D. Let me just show you what happens when you try to go into 2D. Double click on level 1 under project browser. I'll try to go to FBX. Can't. Saves as a 3D view as an FBX file. You cannot do it any other way. So, bam. Now we can do it. And there we go. So, good old Facebook. Alright, I'll save you my singing. So here we go. Now we're going to just export this as CIA interrogation office because it's too small to be living in. Wait, did I do it right? Oh, I think so. Yeah, looks like OA. Yeah, whatever. If I get any feds knocking at my door and I can't make any more tutorials, I'm sorry, folks. Probably should have picked a little wiser there, but hey, might hire me on, huh? Design their facilities for them. All right, so we got that taken care of. This part's done. So now we're going to go to 3ds Max, right? Well, I'm not going to import this right away into 3ds Max because I want to show you the video of the window and some things that I did for it to prepare it for Unreal. And it's the same thing goes with everything. So I just basically took one window out of one of my models and did all the stuff to it. I do it for the doors too. And the reason I do this is because once these are already sized up to your model, the walls, you can delete them in 3ds Max and then re-import them into Unreal Engine 4. Same size, it will fit perfectly. You snap it to the grid, okay? It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that if you try to export an entire model like this and then re-import it into Unreal, errors can happen. Things go down and your computer can blow up. God knows what can happen, you know. We've all had these issues before. Your computer's not really gonna blow up, but you should treat it like it will. All right, so we're done with that. This is the window that I was talking about before, the single hung window. These are the typical windows in some apartments you may see. So I'll show you the side. You know, I've already centered the pivot point and all that, centered it to the grid. So again, in Revit, I used feet instead of centimeters or inches or anything like that. And the reason I did that is because it could easily be converted over to 3ds Max. So let's say I import FBX and it says, well, it doesn't match the unit size for your customized 3ds Max layout. And I'll show you what I mean. Right here I have centimeters selected on metric. If you want it to be in the unit size acceptable, or at least by default in Unreal 4, you want them in centimeters and you want a metric. Make sure you have that, otherwise it's not going to work right. Next, you have to go to System Unit Setup. 1 unit equals 1 centimeter. Do not change this. If you do, it will not equal 1 centimeter. They won't line up. Click this, respect system units and files. The reason why is if you don't, and you import a model from another program, it might be OBJ or FBX, but if you don't do this, it may deform the model when you try to bring it into this. Even if you up the scale to your current 3ds Max settings, it might still deform the file, so you need to select that so it doesn't. Okay, those are out of the way. Now, like I said, usually, again, let's say you made a model in 3ds Max at your friend's house or at school, and you had different customized settings for a different project, and you made the model and said, oh God, I forgot I did that. You just spent an hour and a half building it. Don't worry about it. Just save it as FBX, okay? Make sure when you do that, under the settings, under units of the FBX files, a lot of people will just go over this and press OK. Make sure automatic is clicked and centimeters is selected underneath it. Then you'll be all set. When you import it into 3ds Max at home, you'll have no problem. It will ask you if you want to keep the unit, the FBX file settings, which will be saving your other 3ds Max file or Maya file settings, or if you want to bump up the unit scale to what you have at home. You want to bump up the unit scale, so you want to scale it up to the customized settings in 3ds Max. You'll see when you see the pop-up menu if you've ever done it before. So okay, that's out of the way. I'm going to end this video here. It's about 20 minutes long now. So we're going to finish this off in video 3. I will cover how to lay out your UVs, how to take care of the light maps, how to take care of the materials on here. As you can see, it's green and blue. I'll explain that in the next video. And then the next video after that, I will import them into Unreal and just show you what I mean with the apartment building, the windows, the doors. I will do the same thing for the windows and doors as I do here, as well as the walls for the apartment building, so that they all fit together with proper scale. And even if it doesn't look right in game, you could always resize your 3D models. You can change the scaling options, you can change the grid options, and if you know what you're doing, it doesn't screw with it too much. What will happen is it will look more in proportion if you kind of look at it. Now, I would make a reference block, a BSP brush is what they call them, when you make blocks in Unreal Engine. It's sort of like making 3D models in the engine, but they're not as advanced as using 3ds Max or Maya. Anyway, you make a block, make it 183 units tall. Okay, when you make the block, make sure you rise it above the ground of whatever default map you open up, and then push the end button to make it drop right on top of the ground perfectly, so that from that point upward is 183 centimeters. That will be the same size as the character that you're using. Let's say you use first person or third person, it will be the same size as that character. So you can use that as a reference point to build your level around it, so it's up to real world scale. Okay, and that's what they call it when you build in certain scales units in 3ds Max or 3D program you have, and you bring it into Unreal Engine and it matches the default settings. One Unreal unit equals 1 centimeter. You can change that, but you also have to change it across all your programs. You just have to think ahead. You know what I mean? How many, if you do feet in Revit, okay, how many centimeters are in a foot? Well, 3ds Max is going to put that many centimeters to fill up. Let's say I put 8 or 9 feet for the wall height. How many centimeters is going to be in that? If 6 feet, a little over 6 feet is 183 centimeters. There you go. Just do the math. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'm glad that I've helped some people already. I was not expecting to get 20 views already, but if you like the way I do my tutorials, let me know. If you like it, share it, spread the word. I'll do more tutorials. I will be making a website soon. Some of my work, both in Unreal Engine, the older Unreal Engines, 3D modeling that I've done, work with splines, things that I've learned that I think are one of the best techniques to use to learn when you're starting this. Save you a lot of time. Again, there's more tutorials out there by better professionals. You know, I've been in this for a few years, but there's still a lot to learn. I may be selling some of my 3D assets, which I will optimize for mobile gaming, Unreal Engine. I'm not really big into Unity, but I'll try to see if I can make some assets for that as well. I'll look for the settings and everything and how it's accepted. I'll probably download it just to test it to make sure, but mainly for Unreal. However, I will leave it to be customizable for those who do buy my my assets or my work. You'll be able to fully customize it for your engine, so it should be no problem. I'll also be able to make tutorials about color baking, normal baking, baking from high detail models to low poly, optimizing your high detail models to be low poly models so that you can take the high detail textures of the high poly models and put them on low poly so they look just as good. If you have a PS4 and you have a PC that has graphics like that or beyond, that's how they do the modeling. Okay, believe it or not, the majority of them are low poly models. They just have the texturing of the high poly, so they look good. And unless you're really close to it and looking at it, you're not going to notice. Most people don't sit there and gawk at things all day. I kind of do, because I like to look in games like GTA 5 for the computer and PS4. It's beautiful, beautiful, okay? You could add mods to that, you could optimize it, make it even better. So this is how you do it. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.